Bing
I
bong.
know you mean the world is
Whoa, copyright.
changing and
Anyway,
things to wonder.
copyright.
Copyright. Copyright.
Alright, right.
All right, so hello everybody. Welcome to the xrWraith podcast. This is episode 1. Our topic for today is gaming as a whole, and all that lovely stuff. So, let's get started with an introduction. So, let's go from what I can see the top left all the way down. So, first up, AV. What's going on, my guy? Introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. All right, I am avionics guy. I am a plane man. That's about it.
Quality. What's your favorite video game?
Favorite video game? Whew. Halo Reach.
Quality. 10 out of 10. Anything else to say to the crowd before we get started? I heard
No,
that.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Bean Man, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bean Man, your local inebriated and retarded person. Don't worry about that. Gotta say, favorite game is Team Fortress 2. And you know, bitches get stitches. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Shit, you right. All right, Reckless, my guy, introduce yourself. I swear, if you say some dumb shit.
It should look like Fortnite.
Hey, I gotta agree with
I am
that shit.
reckless, as it wasn't obvious by reckless. Not reckless. I'm so fucking. I'm a narcissist. If you didn't know that.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, I'm reckless. I have been friends with Jordan for God knows how long, and I'm comic relief.
Indeed.
That's about it.
Any favorite game?
Your mom.
Favorite game.
Your mom's not a game. I'm sorry.
Favorite game.
My favorite game has to be not Fortnite. It has to be Halo.
All right, so time to kick him from the podcast. All right,
Just
so
mad that the Rock's in Fortnite.
So let's just get right into it. So first topic, we're gonna get a little bit into the Call of Duty franchise, and we're just gonna talk about how it's changed and the amount of not good it has become. So, personally, I think that the Call of Duty franchise stopped being good after Black Ops 2. I think personally, I think Black Ops 3 had a good weapon system, and I think they had a good idea behind the abilities, but everything else kind of just seemed like extra. Black Ops 3 was the last playable one, in my opinion. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but
I agree full-heartedly about that. That being that Black Ops 2 was the final good Call of Duty game, a Black Ops game at least, because the Black Ops 3 introduced the care package system kind of thing, where you get like fucking cosmetics and weapon attachments. I think.
yeah,
Was it just solely cosmetics or also weapon attachments?
I think okay, so with 3, I think the amount of like weapons attachments they added, I think some of them, yeah, it's a new game, you need to add more new shit, but I also think the only good thing that was added really was like what was it? There was only like 2 or 3 attachments that I really enjoyed with Black Ops 3, and it's just like everything else is kind of just useless. It's the same as another one.
To break it down with Black Ops 3, maybe it had a good weapon system, but all I know is that the campaign for the game was absolute dog shit. And the summary of it was Tringo Boom. That's the summary of Black Ops 3's campaign.
Yeah, it was just very like bland.
It was pretty dull compared to Black Ops 1 and 2. Black
Yeah.
Ops 1 and 2 hit hard.
Well, and
In
here's
Black
the
Ops
thing:
2.
they had some of the best stories in the franchise. It was really good. I'm really a big fan of Black Ops 1.
Yeah.
Specifically, I gotta
defense-
say
Oh, go ahead.
Black Ops 1 is by far like that is the game. Like, to be honest, if I could forget any game and play it over again, it would have to be Black Ops 1.
For sure. I'm
100%.
gonna do a little 50-50. I'm gonna stay on the line. In defense of all the games past Black Ops 2, to come off of a high that was Black Ops 2 and 1, to have those games, the story, the gameplay, everything, to have those games being the best they're around, and making a new one after that, you can't make one as good as those. There is no
Yeah,
achieving that level again.
Yeah, that's
that would have
mad.
been incredibly
At the
difficult.
same time, at the very same time, you didn't need to like put us in a trench,
Yeah,
that sort of thing. You
'cause
didn't need to drop it that much. The amount of work that went into those games dropped dramatically, and I
yeah,
think that's what really made people upset.
Black Ops 3, like personally playing it, like I'm not the kind of person who like I'm not going to talk crap about 4 cuz I haven't played 4, but I have played 3 and I've played Warzone. Um and personally, I didn't even like I literally got 4. I think it was for my birthday or for Christmas or something. I didn't even bother playing the game because like I just had such a bad experience with 3. Like 3, it was so glitchy, like people were managing to get hacks into it super easy, and there was like even on console when it wasn't crossplay, like it was just ridiculous. Like there was just so much stuff wrong with the game. Wall running was busted as hell. Um and the maps, even like the maps were just not that great. I was not at all a fan of the layout of the maps for Black Ops 3. But like Black Ops 2, I believe, like Black Ops Hijacked, you can't go wrong with Hijacked.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Hijacked was like, in my opinion, out of all the maps that Black Ops 2 had, like even if it had Nuketown, Hijacked was definitely like that was the place you go for 1v1s. You don't even bother with Nuketown on Black Ops 2. It's definitely Hijacked that you want.
Yeah, and
I
then
gotta
Nuke.
say, for Black Ops 2, the KSG that they had in there,
Ooh,
I
Dude,
really
you
wish
can turn
they
that
had.
shit into a sniper rifle.
I know it was
It's
so
So
got
good. I
to.
good.
really wish it was in the other Black Ops games. I really wish it was, but
It's a
no.
modern weapon. It's an actual weapon IRL. So I mean,
I know. That's why I'm like kind of peeved that it wasn't in MW, or it might have been in MW. I don't remember. I haven't played it in a long time.
I just remember like with Black Ops 2, you could turn any weapon into whatever you wanted. I remember what was it, the TAC 45, I believe it was. I think so.
Mm.
That gun was like with the right attachments and everything else, like that gun was absolutely insane. And the what was it, the PDW uh SMG, that was my favorite gun in the game because if you upgraded the rate of fire just a little bit and added a stock and foregrip, it was well, foregrip and just extended mag capacity, that was just ridiculous. Like there was no running away from that gun. With the right optic, it
Me
was done.
personally, go ahead, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Personally, I would have to say my favorite gun was the XM8, the assault
Oh,
rifle.
XM8 was pretty good.
I I really liked that they added an obscure gun into the game. And honestly, I feel like a lot of first person shooters, they don't really add obscure weapons like that. They add the normal M4, the AKs, but they seem to forget all of the weird guns. There's a lot of weird guns IRL, and I wish that they would get a little bit more attention.
Yeah, I think now on to the topic of weird guns. I think that moving on to Warzone, I think Warzone did a good job of weapon inclusion and stuff like that, and allowing like you to
Mhm.
bring in your own like weapon set instead of just having to find whatever's on the map. But um, I do think that Warzone kind of just became like that that's the Call of Duty game right now, other than like Vanguard, which whatever. Like if you're a Call of Duty fan, you're a Call of Duty fan. It is what it is. But personally, I just think that Warzone kind of like added in an immense amount of toxicity to the community because there was already a bunch of COD players who were pretty toxic, but like it was balanced out because the game was just multiplayer, and then you played your shit and then you went on with your day. But with
It was just
Warzone,
a good game.
yeah, with Warzone just brought in a whole other storm of things, and it really just created
Yeah,
like a really like it's just ridiculous. And then there's just
I have a
so
word
many
for
hot
you.
hackers and aimbots and so
A
much
good
stuff.
word for that would be a cesspool. Cesspool is a good word.
Yeah. I just
But
genuinely believe COD as a whole has really fallen, and Vanguard, I think, could be their saving grace, but who knows.
I
Yeah.
doubt that
Ooh,
because it's
see,
released right now.
I gotta
It's
say,
just-
I have to disagree with you. I think
Well,
that
it's just a hypothetical,
they
you know
are,
what I mean?
yeah, I know, but throughout what gameplay we've seen so far of Vanguard, and the previous games like Cold War, um, I gotta be honest. I think that Cold War and Vanguard and MW are literally the same game with reskinned items. And I
Yeah.
know that is like a not popular topic, but I mean, really think about it. Oh, and another thing, and this is going on to weapons in Vanguard. It's the authenticity that the game brings in. It, I mean, adding reflex sights in a game that is set during, what is it, World
World
War
War
One,
Two, I
World War
believe.
Two. Yeah, there were no okay, no, there were reflex sights in World War Two, but they were fucking massive
Well,
and
why would
like
they?
unwieldy.
My real question is, why would they make Vanguard when they've already made a Call of Duty World War game?
Yeah, that's
Well,
why I don't
they've made
understand.
multiple World War games, World
Yeah,
War One and Two.
but like, isn't okay? So isn't it? What is it? Call of Duty World War? Is it just Call of Duty World War? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
There
I
was
think so.
yeah,
So why would
there was,
they?
I think there's Call of Duty World War, and then there's Call of Duty World War Two,
and
Yeah.
there's
and
Call of Duty World at War.
So
yeah, which by the way, best that's like the
the
OG Call of Duty. That's like
the older CODs, like those World at War games, that those were good with the series at the time. But I believe that making a newer age Call of Duty World War and then making Vanguard, which are pretty close in eras. I wouldn't say they're exactly around the same time, but they're both around the same kind of subject, and it's just only a little different. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of contradictory to the like progressive change that the series is usually
Yeah.
followed.
Yeah, I
I
get.
think it's kind of like, yeah. To be honest, I think they might have ran out of ideas because there's only so many wars, obviously.
Well, and yeah, well,
That we've
and
had,
I think
but
that's why they delved into like the infinite and the advanced warfare side of things.
you
Let's
see,
wait.
I feel
Wait for Call of Duty War of 1812.
dude. Honestly, I was about to say, I think that would be a
Call of
really
Duty Battle of the
interesting.
I would
Bulge.
honestly
Yeah, I
play
feel
like
like
a
that would be a really
Revolutionary War.
interesting Call of Duty game. Yeah,
If we were
like
to
a
have like a
Revolutionary War, like
George
a Civil
Washington
War.
kill
I think
streak or
that would
some
be a
shit.
really cool Call of Duty. I think that would be a
I mean,
really cool Call of Duty.
Well, and here's the
there was a
thing. With that idea, if we were to have like a colonial version of Call of Duty, yeah, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, well, it's not modern." Here's the thing. Do you know how much cool shit there was back then? That would be cool in a game. And
Bro,
also,
fucking single action revolvers doing cowboy shit during the Civil War. Like,
Oh
why the
yeah.
fuck? Fuck Battlefield and fuck MW. I want to
zombies
run
in the
around with a
colonial
fucking
era with a fucking
yo,
musket in a Springfield,
dude. That
bro.
shit would be so awesome, bro. Like having bro. Oh my fucking
A
god.
Yeah, back in
cavalry
the day, it
sword
was
with a
Cowboy
fucking
guns,
like
bro.
cavalry sword
it's
with a gun in the hilt, bro.
that'd be so cool. No, back in the day, so I work on an army helicopter from like the 1970s, and one of the cool things about things from like that area, and especially not area era and back, a lot of cool things is that they're very mechanical. So there's a lot of like switches and buttons, and they were so innovative. So games from that era and like way back would be incredible with the amount of just such cool stuff that goes with it.
Yeah, I genuinely think that would be a really good thing. Now, before we close off on the topic, I'd just like to say that um, so all of these opinions that we're discussing right now, these are our own personal opinions. If anybody wants to disagree with anything we have to say, that's cool. These are just based off our own personal opinions and experiences with the games. So if you're like, well, actually, we don't care. I don't care. Nobody here cares. Like we're just discussing, man. So, any
And
last
to
things before
segue
we want to
into
close?
Oh, yeah, okay, go ahead.
No, you're good, dude.
Well, I was gonna make the segue, but I do want to hear any last opinions. Go ahead, guys. Nobody? Okay. Well, to segue into the next topic, Forza Horizon 5, a big title, as most people know who are into the automobiles, the very fast cars. Um, let's talk about it. So overall, They have great car selection. I've been playing the game for a while. The races are nice and everything. The game is it's solid. There's just a couple problems with
There
it
we go. Sorry, continue.
that I have encountered before. Um, so often when you're doing a race in Forza Horizon 5 and you're maybe in first place, and you're kicking absolute ass, you're drifting all over the place, you're a fucking absolute mad lad. There will be a chunk of the map missing. And if you drive into that, the game will crash right there and you have to restart the entire game. And it's really aggravating and really annoying.
Well, didn't the
And
game
I'm
come out
gonna
on the 18th? Was it?
I believe so. And I just and this is for all AAA games. Why? Why it just feels like they didn't put a lot of effort to avoid something like this. Like, there's obviously beta testers for games, right?
Well, yeah, they have
So
hundreds
how is
upon
it
hundreds of
they
these
haven't
guys.
yeah, so I don't understand how they haven't caught such a simple and very common bug in the game. You would
Yeah.
think they'd be able to,
Well,
fix it,
here's the
but
thing though. With a lot of games, with very high paced, high intense games, things like not like Call of Duty where it's intense, but I mean like fast paced, you're moving real fast. There's so much loading and a lot of just technicals on like the technical aspect of things to load that much stuff in that fast with everything that's going on. It's hard to do. So it's definitely a challenge to fix, but I do think, like you said, an issue that simple or that obvious definitely should get fixed or at least found a different way to go over.
Well, and again,
yeah, and
branching off
especially with
of
the
that,
amount of devs that they have.
it's just really annoying to see. Like, there's so many mainstream games like Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, like Vanguard. Like, there's so many of these new release games that, like, they're too worried about. Like, yes, listening to your community for your game is incredibly important, but I also think at the same time it's also incredibly important to discuss, like, to make sure you are fine tuning everything. Like, yes, okay, if there's like small things that need to be fixed, like in an update, that's fine. But don't release a game with major problems like that when you, like, especially if you know it's going to be a big, like, heavy unloading, like heavy on rendering and ray tracing and whatever it is. Take the time. I would rather wait longer for a game to come out than deal with so many problems at launch. That kind of deters me away from the game as a whole. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Exactly.
That's
And
where the money comes in. Could you,
adding new stuff to a game is absolutely detrimental to a game's health, in my opinion, because we've seen this with MW, how they add new things in the game before they fix what's already there, and it causes more problems. I
Yeah.
don't really understand that. But go ahead, Avion. You were about to say something.
yeah, that's where the money aspect comes in though. These places only have so much of a budget. You can only throw so much into like updates and things like that without having that first revenue come in. Like with Halo Infinite, you got to release the game and have people pay for it before you can keep updating it consistently. You can't just update everything, make it completely flawless when it comes out. You don't have a budget for that. I mean,
Well,
unless there's like huge big ticket games like that where it could have been a little extended, but there's some instances where that doesn't work.
Well, I'd say, like, with games like with this, like Forza series and Halo, I think they this is gonna sound really messed up, but like I think it's a legitimate, like, logical idea. I think they should try and make as much money as they can from their previous title before they start trying to make the new game, which is gonna be whatever it is, whatever it is. Now, games now are becoming bigger and better, brighter, whatever. But yeah, and I understand that most of them now coming out are going to have launch issues. Like, there's even games coming out on Switch that have issues at launch, and they're not even that crazy of a game. But I believe that a lot of devs nowadays, it's getting incredibly difficult because they're so there's a lot of devs that are so focused on the sequel, or their work conditions at the company aren't very great, that they're not making enough money from either the prior game or getting enough, you know, like, they're not getting enough out of their employees. It's making it incredibly difficult. And back onto making money from your previous games, like with Forza, I know so many people who greatly enjoy Forza Horizon 4, and I think they could have tried to make as much more money as possible. Because there's people who won't play that game at all until 2 years in, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put this much money into it and enjoy it for this amount of time." So I just
For
think they could
sure.
have tried to milk the cow a little bit more. but there's only so much you can do.
No, I get that. But one thing though, what if I'm sure there's games out there, I can't think of any on the spot right now, where the first game or the second game was pretty dog water, pretty bad. But then the next game after that was a huge hit and everyone loved it. I'm sure there are games like that out there. You can't
Oh,
live off that revenue.
Yeah, it,
So
it,
I'm
it just it
sure
just
there
all
is definitely a
depends
lot
on
of
the
special
sequel.
cases.
It just depends on
A
the
good
game.
example. A good example of that is like TF2. You know how TF Classic that was
Yes,
ran off
thank
of the
you.
source, and there was a lot of there was a lot of work put into the concept art of Team Fortress 2. And when TF2 came out, it started off small, but now it's got a big community, and obviously, it's degraded over a couple years, with the bots and the hackers and everything in it. But and Valve completely abandoning the game, unfortunately. But that's a great example of what you just
For
said.
sure. Would we count Destiny as one of those? I heard Destiny 1 was a big game. I never got into it, but I know Destiny 2 is massive. I
Destiny
don't know if I would
1
count that as an
was
example,
an
but
incredibly like both games in general, like that's an incredibly unique thing. Like you have online and then you have a hub where you can see being able to have players actively like in real time moving around while you're online and with a connection is from what I can understand incredibly difficult to incorporate into a game, especially a game like Destiny, which the graphics are like insane. Destiny 2 is absolutely gigantic, and one thing that Destiny does really well is they sell the hell out of DLCs. So I think Destiny 2, there are definitely bug issues, but I think it's a little different in the fact that they they sell their it's one of those games that they plan on releasing DLCs that are set amount of money and they know people are going to buy them because people who are diehard fans of the series are going to buy that, and that's going to allow for more revenue. And Destiny 1 was out for I don't even know how long before they even talked about making Destiny 2. I remember hearing about Destiny 2 coming out and whenever, and I was amped for it because D1 had been out for years already. So I just think it's a little different because D1 was an absolute success. And the thing with back to Forza and Halo, it's kind of difficult because Halo 5 kind of crashed and burned for that series, but Forza 4,
Yeah.
that game was really good. But again, they didn't have as many they didn't have the DLC implementation like Destiny did. Because Destiny was hard on that. They incorporated it into the main game dialogue and everything else.
Speaking of Halo Infinite, I gotta say the multiplayer versus campaign. First off, let's start with the campaign because oh my god, it is amazing. Truly, I feel like they've brought back the Halo series
yeah,
from
they brought back Halo, not just a
3.5.
game. They made Halo again.
Yeah, they definitely nailed it on the spot for the campaign. Me personally though, the multiplayer, it's just not it for me. I don't like how they did most of the things. Like for instance, the damage difference between some of the guns is
Ugh.
pretty apparent. Like and the alien gun. Well, I don't really know if they're alien guns, but shit like the Rampage. The one that like chucks out a bunch of red shit, and then
Yeah,
you would do a lot of damage.
I
You're just better off using You're better off using the pistol than
and,
you are
and the
using
issue with
the
the
weapon.
weapons in Halo Infinite kind of for me ties back to um kind of what they shouldn't have taken the DMR like out of the game. The Commando,
Oh yeah,
that is
they
a
should have had the
dog
DMR in there
shit
for
gun.
sure.
That gun, first off, its rate of fire is like whatever. It's eh. And also my issue with that is like why put a gun in the game? That's just weird. And also the default button layout for players who there's a lot of players. Each Halo that comes out, there's a new stream of new players every single time, and that's just how it's been for the series. So for the new players or like returning players, that button default button layout makes absolutely it's just really odd and uncomfortable to the hand because I remember doing the tutorial and going over it, and it was really odd. And I remember I just remember going through the tutorial and being like, this is not smooth. This is not comfortable at all, and I really do not like it. I will be back on being called, so I'll let y'all keep talking about things.
No problem.
What?
Let's segue away from AAA titles and something that has well,
Okay.
it's been here for a
Consumes
while
the
now.
gaming world.
Indeed.
Okay.
Wait, what do you want to talk about? I was gonna say Rust console, but what do you?
Oh, no, you're gonna do the segue that you said before. Okay, I thought we were
You
talking about the battle pass.
bastards.
Oh my God, the battle. You know what? Actually, you bring up a great topic, and I'd rather talk about that than Rust
Indeed.
console. The battle pass on
All
Halo
right.
Infinite.
There
On
should
Halo
not,
Infinite specifically.
before we go into details,
There should
there should
like
never be a
Bro.
battle pass in any Halo game. I'm just going to say it now.
absolutely, yeah, I fucking 100% agree with you.
As a
I
Halo
don't
fan
think
who's been
battle pass
playing
should be
from the
anywhere
OG
near
Xbox,
Halo games.
I've been playing Halo since the OG Xbox came out, and seeing a battle pass in that game is filthy. I've played all the games, and it's disrespectful almost, because Halo 5
Really
multiplayer
is.
was tolerable, right? And the campaign was
It
dog.
was its own game
Mm.
in a way. It was its own game.
Yeah, but then you
However,
release
explain why the battle pass for Halo is such a big issue. Why would that be an issue for a game series as adored as Halo or any game related?
In my opinion, the reason why it shouldn't be there is mainly because they're they're hopping on the bandwagon. I mean, you see it with every AAA title now. MW had a fucking battle pass. Cold War had a battle pass. Vanguard's probably going to have a battle pass. Apex has a battle pass. There are just so many games nowadays that run off of the battle pass system, and it's absurdly stupid because back in Halo 3, right, as I'm very aware that all of us are have played before, and
yeah.
Halo Reach, and even games like Halo 4, there has always been a system where you earn the armor and you don't buy something and then you have to work towards it. Now, people
It
are
gave
gonna
players a
argue
reason to play. It gave a lot of people a
exactly.
reason to play.
I believe that this is gonna be an argued topic, and that's that the battle pass does give you challenges that let you earn armor, but my gripe with it is that you have to pay for those challenges, which in my opinion is just stupid. Like why should I have to shell out more money to the game when
It can be earned.
it's
When
been
it's always been earned before. Like you see your gaming,
challenges for armor since forever, since
oh,
Halo
for
Nine.
sure.
Well, yeah, and
Exactly.
before it was
I mean,
it
it's
was
just
more
like
fun to
imagine you get.
I think he's. Are you delayed by chance, Beans?
To be honest, I don't know.
Oh, for a
But
second I thought you
go ahead.
were because it was like. No, no, no worries.
yeah,
Go
you
ahead,
might be.
Wraith. I was gonna say something after you.
Nah, yeah. So what I was gonna say is basically like I completely agree with Bean. Like I think Battle Pass completely ruins like the fun aspect of the game because you're gonna be looking the the thing everybody enjoyed about Reach and 5 is that yes, rec points in 5 were a little annoying, but you earned them by playing and you didn't have to pay for them. It was an option. You didn't have to pay for it, and that's my problem with Infinite. With Infinite, they make like it's just very dry. It's very dull. Like I just don't enjoy like if I were to get a new armor after doing a challenge, I wouldn't feel good about it. Like I'd feel dirty. I'd be like, okay, I don't feel good about this. With Halo 5, working towards getting armors, it was kind of like a mystery box sort of thing, which was a little weird. No, but then falling back to Reach. Reach was the best armor earning system, and MCC did a good job of this. It's one of the best armor earning systems in all of the games. Like it's so good. It's even OG Reach. It was so very good, and I really enjoyed it because you'd play multiplayer, you'd earn your credits, you'd get a rank up, and then you would distribute that into what you wanted. And I think that's when people were talking about what the Halo Infinite should have when it came out, people were talking about that we should have a similar system to Reach when we have Infinite, and I think we should. It's kind of too late for that now because they've already programmed it and everything. But I think if they're going to go further with Infinite, they need to get rid of you having to pay for stuff, because the number of people that are going to be transferring to the game is going to be it's going to die down exponentially, because it's a comp game now. That's all it is. Every game mode is like a comp game now, and it's kind of ruined it for me, because at the end of the day, it's just like I want to enjoy the game, but I don't want to have to fight a bunch of sweats all the time. I want to be able to play casual game modes and enjoy it instead of just fucking just stressing
Yeah.
out the whole time.
Slightly back to the Game Pass just for a second. The idea that it's just paying for your skins, there was a satisfaction that came to earning your armor, whereas now you play with a Game Pass game and you look around and you see all these crazy skins and you're like, oh man, I'm never gonna really get into it with these people because they all paid for their skins. And it's just like,
It
not
almost creates
demeaning,
like
that's
a
not a good
click
word.
system.
Yeah. And that's why like games like Fortnite, especially Fortnite, just the idea that, how do I can't put it into words. Just paying for stuff, just paying for cosmetics is, it doesn't feel good. It just feels cheap.
Yeah, it's a very
Exactly. If anything, sorry.
no, dude, you're good.
If anything, it feels abysmal. Because
Yeah.
it's like, how do I put it? You're basically wasting money, and of course, I'm sure everybody here, you don't want to waste money, right? The whole purpose of playing a video game, like Wraith said, is to sit down, enjoy it. All right, you don't want to be sitting there, contemplating whether you're gonna buy this skin or you're going to buy that skin. You should be sitting down thinking, what skin do I want to earn today? What do I want to put my time towards, instead of just, doing it is cheap because you're not doing anything for it. I mean, sure, you may have gotten the money by earning that money, but you didn't earn the skin. You just
Anybody
chucked
can
money
buy
at it
that
until you
skin
got it.
now,
Like,
and it
not-
doesn't add a certain level of, oh, I worked for this. Like the commendations in 5, like you have to get a certain amount of headshots or whatever else to get, like, for example, Target Master. All the Target Master skins, you have to work for those. That is one of the things I really enjoyed about 5. That's an inclusion that they made. You had to
It's,
work.
you need to work for your skins. It's demeaning to see a guy who's like level 2 and he's got like some of the best armor in the game, and you're like max level and you worked like months to get that sort of stuff, and he's got it on. It's just like, are you kidding me?
Like
It's
I think like I get it. Like they're trying to be like, oh, inclusive and everything else, and that's the big topic. Everybody is so big. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but like I think you guys get what I mean. Like gaming companies now are like, okay, we don't want to deal with any complaints from people, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, it should be about players showing how much time they spent in the game. In Reach, you can tell how long someone's been in the game if they have this armor effect and that armor and armor, like just all this other stuff. Same thing with 5. Like you can tell, at least for the most part, how long someone's been playing the game because they've earned their stuff and everything else. It's just really annoying to see that Infinite has just become another one of those comp games that's just not casual anymore. Now the campaign, it's fantastic. Campaign is absolutely stunning. It's one of the 10, I think it's 10 times better overall than Halo 5, but the multiplayer is just so much, it's just not there. I think the weapon inclusions and changing the regular carbine from to a pulse carbine,
mhm.
like, and making all these
I
weapons
didn't like that.
pulse and adding the pulse weapons and everything else, and like these weird rate of fire weapons and whatever. I'm not a big fan. There's a few weapons they added that I do really enjoy, like the spiker, and I'm glad they brought back the chopper. Like those were good decisions. But for the most part,
Yeah.
To be
the new
honest, the
weapons were
chopper
just
was
not
by
good.
far the most underrated vehicle, like, ever.
Back
My
in the day,
opinion. I
using a
remember going
chopper
on
was
Halo 3
so
using it.
amazing because you would go into a custom
It
session
was so much
against
fun.
AI, and it was great. You do PVE and just destroy. It was
Oh
great.
yeah. Halo Infinite is, they brought back the Halo that was missing from 5 and a little bit of 4. They brought back the Halo that people missed, but they kept the same modern, jumbled up, the most generic or FPS first-person shooter just game there ever was. They didn't change that aspect back to what Halo was.
Yeah, and
Some aspects that's fine, but in others we kind of miss it.
it's very cheeky now. It's a very just not. It's very exploitable game, and I really don't like that. It's made itself incredibly vulnerable to like just negativity as a whole from gamers. Like when I like my first few games on it, yeah, there's toxic players, whatever. Every single game I win on in Infinite, teabaggers nonstop, and that doesn't really come about unless the environment is comp environment and it's automatically already like, oh, okay, well this is more like a ranked game or like a competitive game, so I need to do this to kind of show get wrecked. All the comp players hopped over to Infinite because that's the gameplay style, and it's just not fluid. Halo 5, yeah, the campaign was dog, but the multiplayer we had was it was really, I honestly think it was pretty good because for that to come after Reach and do as well as it did is impressive. I think Halo 5 had a really good multiplayer and they should have kind of stayed similar to that, but they just completely went off the tracks with that.
You mean came after Halo 4, the most forgettable
Halo,
game?
yeah. Look, I'm not gonna for
Halo
whatever.
4 was forgotten. Halo 4 was
Four's
forgotten.
Four's campaign was pretty decent, but after Reach, there's just nothing. There's just you just
Yeah.
can't. You just can't.
Yeah, and I feel like Halo Infinite was the only step that 343 could make to bring Halo back. That was the only way they could do, and they did as good as they could to salvage what was Halo 5, to take it in the direction that they did. Fantastic. If there
I
wasn't an open world, I'd say that's one of the better Halo games.
Yeah, the open world aspect, it's not bad. It feels like Far Cry. It really feels like Far Cry, and
It
I
really
do
does.
not like
Yeah, I
that.
agree with that.
It Far Cry, that should be its own thing in games like Far Cry. Those should be their own thing. Having a game, having Halo, which is like one of my all-time favorite games, like yes, there are every single game, no matter what it is, Halo or whatever, there's going to be negative things that piss you off and whatever else. But having open world wasn't the worst idea they had, but they did it in a way that was it just didn't it it it's just morphing to another game. It's like it's attached itself to an idea and it's like we need to be more like this instead of being original to our what we had. Cuz
Own storyline. How
cuz
would you make it a different though? How would, if you were the one like overseeing all this, how would you make an open world game different from that? Because I feel like Far Cry and those kinds of games, they put a staple on open world.
I genuinely think like, and when it comes to open world, you have Far Cry open world, then you have like Fallout and Skyrim open world with the kind of system that Halo Infinite went along with, similar to Far Cry. I don't think they should have done an outpost thing. I really don't, because that really just it's like okay, yeah, we're getting rid of these characters. Cool. Make them missions like you did in Reach. Make them missions like you did like that. Don't do the mission system in 5. We're no, absolutely not. But kind of do it how like you did it in Reach. Like you had some cool cut scenes that led you into this moment, and like make it instead of if you were gonna do it open world.
I think the right I'm sorry. I think the right word you're looking for is more of a linear gameplay.
Yeah,
Like something how like Call of Duty had how
Yep.
one event led into another event.
It was a
Um,
path,
I
not a figure it out yourself.
but also if they were gonna
yeah,
have it be open world, allow branch offs. Like you could go stealth, you could go this route, you could go this route. That would have been cool. But doing the outpost system, no, I don't enjoy that. It's just not because when I play that, I'm like, okay, cool. This is Far Cry, but sci-fi. I don't want to do that at all. If I want to play Far Cry, I'll play Far Cry. I don't want to like I don't know. It just I don't hate the game. I just am disappointed with the way that they made the mission system not as linear as it should be.
really, I think what they could have done to make the open world experience a little bit better is, and this is gonna sound weird, but to make it a little bit like Dark Souls, how while one area leads to another area, there's all these like little things in that area that you can find, like how, there would be like a locked door and you would have to take an alternate path to get to that locked door, and open it from the other side,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
But
I
overall,
think
with
how it
Dark
would have
Souls,
been.
it is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead, go ahead. I'm
Dark
done with my.
Souls. Oh no, no worries. Dark Souls was, although very big and kind of open world in a sense, it was linear in the end. Either way, you were going towards something, and every single thing you did kind of led generally towards that area. Of course, there's side missions, but
yeah, level
in what
design
game
didn't in
isn't there?
Dark Souls didn't really let you differentiate as farther than the
There
game
was
would let
no,
you.
yeah, there was some areas where it was just like oh, you can do this outside of, like the DLC, for example. That was its own thing. There was no leading to the end game with that. But
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is I think
yeah,
that instead of in order to make an open world experience like different from Far Cry, I feel like how they did it with Dark Souls was like the perfect way to do it because it was linear, but it was general linear. All right, you weren't exactly led specifically to one point. You
Exactly.
had to explore an area. You had to get through all of the enemies. You had to learn where they spawn and all that. You had to learn their move sets.
I honestly
And
think
I feel like if they did that with Halo Infinite. Ooh, that would have been crisp in my
touching
opinion.
off of what you just said, I really think if they had drawn from the newer God of War game, that kind of
Mm-hmm. That
system,
shit's gas.
that
I
would
haven't
have
played.
been
Go ahead and explain it for me.
so it's not super linear and it's not necessarily open world, but you have enough environment to explore where there's collectibles. You can go off and explore all these things. There's like not necessarily side quests, but there's always some new minor cool like, oh, that's interesting to pull you into the game if you get bored because there are long stretches that the story follows. There's good cutscenes, but the thing that really makes it really good with God of War is it's all one camera angle. It never fades to black. It never does any of that, and that is really cool. With a game like Infinite, that would have been
Yeah.
really difficult to do, but they could have followed the system of like, okay, I could go off this way, but like not free reign to just fucking not like a sandbox. Like it's just it I don't think Infinite should have been open world. I think the map size should have definitely increased. I just don't think that an open world was the right like way to do it because I think if they'd drawn a little bit from God of War, a little bit from Far Cry, and kind of combined the two, that would have been at an absolutely sexy game. And I get God of War's PlayStation, but that's still a really good game design, and I think that would have been so good. And I would have rather them. Yeah, they had already delayed the game, but after having delayed the game for Infinite and then releasing it, and it's like this. I mean, come on now. Like, I don't know. I just think overall Infinite it, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think it would probably be a solid like 6 for me cuz I just don't.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like a solid 6 or 7.
But compared
Um,
to a 3 from 5, it's definitely a much better improvement. We've been talking a little bit down on it, but we do got to agree what they did with it was much better than 5.
Oh
But
no, for
anyway, what were you
sure.
saying, Bean?
speaking about God of War Ragnarok. It should
I
be coming
am
out pretty soon, I think. I hope so.
I'm amped
Um,
for that because the
holy
first
shit.
game did an amazing job and the side quests in that game were almost
Oh, dude.
they were
I
almost
played
at the
God of
same level as
War.
the main story.
I played God of War and I literally spent just an entire fucking, I think, 2 days it was just doing side quests after completing the main thing. I literally cannot wait for Ragnarok. I am so pumped for it. I think that the boss fight with Thor and all that shit. And the way they took the game too. Like, going from the Greek mythology to suddenly changing to Norse. I think that was fucking awesome, dude. I really, really, really
Well,
like
yeah,
what they did
cuz
with God of
if
War.
they had kept it in Greek, what else would he have done? Like there was just nothing else he
I
could have
mean, yeah,
done.
I mean, literally Kratos killed Zeus, but there is speculation that God of War was actually not supposed to be in Norse mythology, but instead it was supposed to, and this is just a theory that I've read online, but apparently the next God of War game after the last one where you kill Zeus and then Kratos then kills himself, quote unquote. Um, it was supposed to be where like Egyptian mythology and Norse mythology were to combine, and then there would be like a Norse Kratos, and there would be an Egyptian Kratos, and they would work together to kill the Egyptian and Norse gods. Um,
Uh,
in but I really like how instead of doing all that mumbo jumbo, they just went with Norse. And to be honest, I'm kind of hoping that if after Norse mythology, who knows, maybe we'll get an Egyptian themed God of War. Now,
Mesopotamian God of War. Let's
now
get
I
it.
think that shit would be fucking cool, bro. Like imagine fighting the god of the sun, bro, and he just like
That
uses some
sounds
fucking light.
so
I think
cool.
I
It
think the thing that
it's
would be
so fucking
difficult with
awesome,
that,
dude.
because in modern culture, Egyptian gods are depicted as these shiny gold brass plated motherfuckers that are all like, I, seeing Kratos just murk an entire set of the gods in that would it would almost kind of derail the progress he made in the newest God of War game because
Yeah, yeah, because oh my, yeah, 100%.
because he
You were
didn't
explain it more.
because he didn't go after because he didn't purposely try and kill all the gods in this game. It was mainly self-defense at this point. Now, I'm not going to say he was a
Well,
You're a funny
complete
well,
man.
well.
You're a
Okay,
funny man.
it
I'm
was more. It was more like
It was more of
let's
a
not.
you
Okay,
suck, and then he just
for
killed him anyway.
he wasn't
for
okay.
the new God of War, yes, it was self-defense.
Yeah,
But for the
100%.
previous God of War
Oh no
game,
no
Nah,
no no
it
no
was
he
no.
all
hunted.
In the
revenge.
in
It was
the
all revenge and vengeance,
in the
bro.
all
That's all that was.
in the God of Wars before the newest one on the PlayStation 4 5, that all of those he was like, you motherfuckers need to die because I feel like it. And the one where he has
Fuck
Atreus,
you.
and the one where he has
Yeah, in
Atreus,
this
he's
new one,
trying to
it's a
control himself.
yeah, he 100%. The one scene, the cutscene that I just watched the other day, he was he was mad at Atreus because he wasn't controlling his anger, and I felt like that was a huge step for him, especially being able to stay calm and not kill everyone
Well,
in his
and also
path.
seeing him develop his relationship as a father, and then having him after of already losing his second wife. Like I think they did a really good job of developing the relationship between him and his son, and it was just very
Oh, for
well
sure.
done.
I mean, in my opinion, it was wholesome as shit. Like,
Oh
it,
my
it was seeing
I'm
him
boy,
gonna
going
be
from
honest,
incredible
boy.
tough
moments.
love to just
The okay, so there were moments where obviously Kratos got mad at Atreus, and
Oh, for sure.
that's fine, because let's be honest, Atreus did do some stupid fucking shit.
yeah.
But those small little moments where Kratos shows like he shows more than anger, towards Atreus. He shows a little bit of that sweet fatherly love that some of us here don't have.
Hey, whoa, hey, hey.
But
Reflex
no.
boy.
Oh
But
yeah,
but
Mike's
the
back.
fatherly love that was shown from Kratos, I think it's an example of how Kratos, while he was angry for most of his life, in this Norse universe, he found a little bit of self control. He found a little bit of,
Peace.
of, of peace. Exactly. And of course I was derailed by Balmer and the rest of the fucking gods. But
What's
yeah,
new?
I think Kratos is definitely starting to develop more feelings than just anger. We're seeing a little bit more human in him, a little
Well,
bit
yeah,
more of that mortal scum that is in him.
and what like here's the thing. If I'm not gonna lie, after playing the other God of War games, if I were to just continue to see him angry nonstop, yeah, it'd still be a fun game, but it'd just be same thing over and over and over again. Like that wouldn't have been as fun. And like you said, it's good to see him showing his more human side. He is though he is a god and everything else like that. I do believe that it is good to see him showing his human side, and it's very. I think they did a really good job just developing his story and
Yeah.
showing how
Yeah.
he isn't just an insane murderer in the newest game,
Yep.
but
Now that Reckless is, oh, sorry, go ahead, finish.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say, we're almost out of time, so
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, now that Reckless is back, we can talk about Fortnite, because he's a connoisseur.
So, well,
Uh,
I
kidding.
think
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
we'll save this for part 2.
Ooh.
We'll
Yeah.
go. So
I can't wait to talk about Rust console, which is coming up next
I
part.
can't wait
It's
to talk
coming
about
up.
Feeding Frenzy on the Xbox 360.
So
We didn't even
Can't wait
talk
to
about.
Fruit Ninja.
We
on
didn't talk
Fruit
about Deer
Ninja
Simulator.
Xbox Connect.
I think
It's
that
fine. We'll save Deer Sim for part 2. It's all good,
so
don't worry about it.
I think next podcast episode our focus is going to be on battle royale games and simulator games such as Deer Simulator, Farming Simulator, and stuff like that, and kind of go more into the lore behind the games.
The
I think
lore. What is the lore for Deer
Lore
Simulator?
lore,
Simulator,
lore for Feeding Frenzy.
the lore of Farming Simulator.
As a child, his
but I
mother
think,
was a
Yo,
guy.
low key, the lore for Farming Simulator outclasses God of War. I'm just gonna say it right now.
I think that's gonna do it for the episode, though. Pretty sick. It was great conversation. There's no arguments, thank God.
No,
So
no, we're a
Unfortunately.
chill group. We're a
That,
chill group.
Unfortunately, Reckless didn't talk like at all.
No,
during
'cause he
this.
had to
Yeah.
go.
I went to eat pizza and see my family. I'm sorry.
Oh, what the fuck, Reckless?
I didn't see-
well,
I don't want to eat at my
we're happy
desk.
to have you here.
I didn't see the
We
green
hope
bar
that
at
you
all.
Join the podcast next time, bro.
Well,
Yeah, no, our sister came up because she said, and I quote, "Can we go watch Santa when he comes through the chimney?" And I went, "No," and he just went downstairs and then didn't come back until now.
I wanted to see how everyone was doing, and I wanted to get some pizza because I hadn't eaten anything today.
quality. I think so today's Christmas Eve, at the time of recording this anyway. So I think this is a good Christmas time episode. We did a good job of this.
Oh,
Yeah,
for-
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
ladies.
Mongoloid. Woo!
This went really well. We went over if you're just coming
Good
back
amount
or
of
whatever
stuff.
it is, we went over the Call of Duty
Good amount of
franchise, a little bit of Forza, Halo, battle passes, and
I
a
missed
little
Halo.
bit
Are you
of
kidding
the-
me?
Oh, we really got into it too.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So and we got into a little bit of God of War as well.
And
Mhm.
Destiny and a whole bunch of other ones.
Yeah. So I think that's
Alrighty.
pretty good. That's gonna be the end of this episode. Thank y'all so much for watching. If there's any ideas y'all have for any future podcasts, just let me know. And yeah. All right, everybody, say bye. We'll catch you next
Bing
time.
bong.
Bing bong.
Catch you
Bing
later. Catch you
bong.
later. Peace.
Later.